There you have it. Half-time in the big one at Olympic Park. Bulleen 2, Altona Magic 1. Dale White with 2 goals, one in the 16th and one in the 40th minute. Itzay Kudlasovsky equalising Dale White's first goal in the 29th minute. And gentlemen, we've got a game on our hands here. 3 goals in the first 45 minutes. That's unusual for a start in a tight final. No one picked that.
We did not expect for a minute for these two sides to gun it out. I mean, they're not really renowned for their... I mean, you call Altona Magic robotic, I think was the terminology, but in the opening half it's been a real festival, hasn't it? And the other question is, of course, too, how many times does a team go down a goal against Bulleen and come back and then have to face that same situation again? It's an intriguing situation at the break.
Well, very few, Greg, and as you know, it's Dale White, he's a sniffer. Goods goal sneak. He got the 2 goals there. Kudlasovsky, you can never count the guy out. And I'll probably live to regret the day I called Altona Magic robotic. Ian Dobson's been on the phone all week, but I'm a bit concerned, Laurie and Greg and Paul, about the midfield in the Bulleen lineup. Grabak and Scott Patterson are not giving good delivery service to Diorio and Dale White. And if that continues in the second half, I think Altona, they'll come back.
But I think Tom Sonsini, he's been brilliant in this first 45 minutes. He set up both goals from the right-hand side, and maybe Grabak and one of the 2 of the others are faltering a bit. But I tell you what, Sonsini and White are absolutely on fire.
Well, Sonsini's making up for it. But as Shocker said, Altona looking very good at the moment, even though...
Did I say that?
Well, more or less you said that.
And I mean,
he was thinking it.
The important element too is, gentlemen, that you've got to bear in mind that I think of all the grand finals I've seen in the Premier League, and I've seen them all, folks, that makes me smarter than most people, this has clearly been the best opening 45 minutes. I mean, you can talk...
In the history of the world.
No, but you can talk... Shut up, Laurie. You can talk broadly about, you know, tactics and blah-de-blah-de-blah, but the truth is, if you're there and you want to get the heart pounding and the adrenaline flowing, you just want to see something happening, and by jingoes, that was a terrific first half.
I'm ready to go already.
And that was only the first half.
Thanks, Laurie.
I think one of the big advantages too is playing it at a venue like Olympic Park. It's a great surface there, and so often some of these games are played in pretty average venues, but the atmosphere's there. It's a
well, we
good
can see
surface
behind
for
you
football.
there, Paul. I mean, look at that crowd, and that was, you know, after most of them had gone home.
Yes, Laurie.
Yeah, on the particularly special grand final set, we're just going to get a few sedatives happening for Laurie. We're going to go to the second half, come back, and also don't forget, folks, to make this day even more special, we've got a whole lot of guests in the studio tonight, real party atmosphere. We're going to be talking to some of the people from Altona Magic and some of the other clubs as well about the season. Party on, watch the second half, get very, very excited.
Welcome back to the second half of the 1995 Premier League. It's Bulleen against Altona Magic, and a sparkling first 45 minutes here at Olympic Park. We were expecting a tight, cautious game, and in many respects the game has far surpassed that. It's 2-1 in favour of Bulleen. Kudlasovsky, bit of a push and a pull for Tsiakos. Got the better of him on that occasion though, then laid it square. Direct shot, over down.
And they are the 2 players that Altona Magic need to fire. Kudlasovsky and Henry Velkovsky. We saw the danger of Henry in the first half. That time he was on the receiving end. And didn't he get a bit of a belt going on that one, Paulie Williams?
I think it would have gone right in that corner, and so did Jeff Olver, because he was down quickly and had both hands behind the ball as quick as he could. Diorio switched over to this right-hand side now, just quizzing with Sonsini what he's doing. Well, what he's doing now is taking a long throw to White. Back to Sonsini. This combination has proved dangerous so far, but not on this particular occasion.
Interesting, the votes perhaps this afternoon for the Jim Rooney medal, presented to the best player in the grand final.
What are your thoughts so far on that, Greg?
Yeah, I reckon there's probably about half a dozen in the running at the moment, Paul. No real standout performers. Perhaps Sonsini, perhaps White. It's been a lethal combination. Lanettis strokes it inboard. Easy away by Atnasovsky, launches it. Kutlasovsky's got the run in on Krajicic. Kutlasovsky's in, Jeff Olver comes out quickly. Stood his ground, Jeff Olver. But Kutlasovsky had the legs to carry himself past Robbie Krajicic, who seemed to hesitate for just a brief nanosecond. And Jeffrey Olver had to do the clean-up work.
Well, Krajicic there disobeyed the first rule of defending, that is don't let the ball bounce, and he let it bounce, and that was all that Kutlasovsky needed.
Is that out of the soon-to-be released Paul Williams manual?
The Richard Allegich coaching manual.
And advanced Bulleen a little closer down the path towards an extraordinary championship victory. Not if these fellows have anything to do with it, as Henry Velkoski strides away from Billy Tsiakos. Top of the box, Henry Velkoski's covered. Ball gets a cannon. Olver, foot race with Radecki. Ball to ground, Georgopoulos scores! Nick Georgopoulos, what a heads-up goal in the grand final. It's 2 each.
Sensational strike that by Georgopoulos. And you could see by the celebrations of his teammates just how they feel about it. Brilliant goal.
Well, Georgopoulos had no finesse about it, but he knew exactly what to do and when to do it, with Olver off his line, spotted it about 30 out from the target, and he just knocked it over the top. Two Bulleen players in the 6-yard box could only watch helplessly as the ball flew over their heads and into the net, and Georgopoulos levels it in what is turning out to be an extraordinary grand final. Paul Williams, as good as any in memory. And Markovsky, a giant of the game, rumbles onto the field for the first time. The big broad shoulders of a Socceroo and certainly a National Soccer League journeyman. Played with 4 clubs in the competition, debuted as a 17-year-old with the Sunshine Georgies in the NSL. A powerful figure and a potential match winner. And with the game in the balance, you wouldn't mind having him on side as Georgopoulos gets free. He's been explosive in the second half. Georgopoulos, low trajectory cross away by Tsiakos. Big assist by Scott Patterson. 180-degree turn and heads upfield, launches it upfield. Velkovsky, he has been sensational since the break. Velkovsky for Georgopoulos.
And you feel, Greg, Altona Magic really starting to dominate now. They're the more likely side to score.
And the 17-year-old.
It was Vetkovsky coming forward.
Here's grand final.
Oh, awkward there. Markovsky brings it down. First touch and a cheeky attempt there for a player who really should find his feet quickly. But that was an outrageous attempt by Big John.
May even be a groin. Stretched for that one, but oh, gee, didn't he come up proppy, Robbie Krajicic? It's trouble for Bulleen. Markovsky. Liparoti goes straight down the middle. Knocked forward by Grabat. Good coverage by Svetkovsky. Allowing Darren McGrath a clean take. With the breeze. Not a good kick. Atnasovsky saw the bounce, ran into the path of it. Turned around the corner by Markovsky, was quite brilliant. Atnasovsky, edge of the box, well done. Good turn inside, right boot gets a cannon. Might be a corner, will be a throw.
Bit of a rush of blood to the head there for Drevko Atnasovsky. He did so well to get past his man.
I have got a feeling, though, that Dobson's instructed these players to get forward and shoot on sight. Bulleen may be going to the bench for the first time.
Plenty of energy left in those legs as Diorio scooted down that left-hand side. He's won a corner as well.
And Bulleen is going to the bench for the first time. Adrian Juliana. And it looks like Robbie Krajicic. Yes, it is Robbie Krajicic who's going to get the call. Corner for Bulleen. Far post. Harris the only one there. Rainmaker. Georgiopoulos under pressure. Well done. Nods the back header clear. Chased down by Lanettis. Ball out of play. And Robbie Krajicic. Is it all coming unstuck for Bulleen? Robbie Krajicic, the most experienced player on the ground, coming off. Hamstring or groin problem. And that is a fairly poignant moment for the Bulleen Lions. Robbie Krajicic, who captained the premiership team of 2 years ago. And a tough call for Adrian Juliana in the number 3. As we hit the final 10 minutes of regulation time in the grand final. Grabak, hopeful ball forward, sits in the breeze. Svetkovsky outgunned in the leg department by Diorio, almost overruns it, does the little chef, brought down from behind. That was a cruel tackle. Diorio from the set piece, released by Lutkins. He tries to drive through the gap. That wasn't a happening thing. Altona Magic away. Kutlasovski, deft touch, he'll run onto it. Siakos comes from behind, draws the free kick. Kutlasovski,
Got to be a yellow card.
fairly animated there.
Intentional foul.
Throwing the arms about a little bit, the Iceman. Danny Madarevsky.
That is a blow for Altona Magic. He's a real danger man, this Athanasovski. And Denny Madarowski gets his chance in the grand final.
83 minutes played. And the only game of the season that really counts, Paul. Two each. Madarevsky runs the gap. He's got the break, stretches it over. Oh, header over the bar, Markovsky. Got a shove too, John Markovsky. And gosh, the new man on Madarevsky, nobody was touching him. And he got the free run. He could almost pick his spot. He dollied the ball. Markovsky got a shove underneath it. Still did enough to squeeze the header towards the goal mouth. Over the line it goes. Altona Magic, this will be, I should think, last roll of the dice in regulation time. We're nearly 46 minutes away. Channel 31, The Soccer Show, Blakey, and the voice of authority, Paul Williams, on deck. Two each as we head towards extra time. This magnificent September afternoon, one they'll long remember, I should think. Oh, big trouble, Liparotti, the slip. Nothing there for Altona Magic. Back, Markovsky tried it first time off the outside of his boot. Rather arrogantly, may have measured that better.
But Liparotti there would have been tragic if his mistake had cost Bulleen the match. And over, you can't discredit him in that situation. He pulled off a terrific save when he had to. And John Markovsky had a chance there to be the hero of the day. But the deadlock has not been broken.
Paul Harris stumbling away from Diorio. Markovsky, last chance. Good away for Altona Magic. Mshovsky closed down quickly, shrugs off the challenge. Georgiopoulos is the option. And Bulleen, without Krajicic, without Valentic, will face a harrowing 20 minutes of extra time. Two each in the grand final, and we're going